Deswegen.
That robot.
And we are back. This is Gamescom, or IGN at Gamescom now. We are here. This is the last day. This is the award ceremony.
That's
This
right.
is the fun part. Next up, we've got something. I've always been very fond of indie games. That's a very vague concept in this day and age. It just means sort of games that are independently developed, and that can mean massive, huge AAA experiences. It can mean like weird little single pixel, strange stuff. But yeah, indie games. I like them.
The list of nominees was like super long.
Yeah.
And the indie arena here at Gamescom is like almost a full hall of just amazing people, small teams developing great games.
No, it's absolutely massive, and I think it speaks to the larger story of what Gamescom is. It is not just big booths. It is tiny booths. It's tiny stories everywhere coming together. The indie area here is as big as some other trade shows in the world are.
No, it's like I think it's over 100 games from like 40-something countries. It's crazy. And that's, I mean, conventions like this are such a perfect experience for experiencing that kind of stuff. I mean, you get, it's just a discoverability I feel like you don't really have as much on the internet. There's not that kind of like walking by something and going, oh, what's this? And, and it feels like, being in an arcade. Like,
and I mean, for most people, for most teams that are super small, it's the only chance to actually to meet other people, journalists, and other developers, because they cannot really afford their own booth. So they are part of the indie village. It's like a great community coming together and showing off what they've been working on for so long.
It's also like when you look at the AAA space, it's sort of a known quantity. There's so many moving parts. It's hundreds of people take to make a game. And when that happens, you have a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Indie games get weird. And that's why I love them. They get artsy, they get weird, they get strange. They bring in, people have custom soundtracks, they make their own art. There are games developed by one individual person who does the animation and the voice acting and the music and everything. And so to bring all that together, tell these crazy, awesome, weird stories, it speaks to me of like why I care about gaming to begin with. Because it's not just about the biggest stories in the world, it's also about like cool, weird stuff.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it's a chance to get games directly from the people making them to the people playing them. It kind of cuts out the middleman. I mean, when you play like a big AAA game, like obviously they're going to pay attention to sort of gamer feedback, but there's the sort of the behind closed doors NDA agreement, focus group testing. But indie devs will just be like, hey, we made this game and we want people to play it, so here it is. What do you think? And if you're like, wow, that guy walks too slow, they'll be like, interesting. We'll work on that.
And it's an interesting title because it's like, what makes an indie game? Is it one person, 3 people, 5 people? Does their publisher or distributor change the way that is perceived by the audience? But I think regardless, this is a medium we want to celebrate, and this is a place to do it.
And usually I'm really happy that we have this category because it shows visions that are clear from let's say, interference. From publishers, big publishers. I mean, we know all the stories of big games that sometimes get ruined by too much interference.
I mean, think about how many AAA developers have quit to make their own indie games. So.
Right.
Yeah. Now we are going to go out to the main stage right now for the nominees for Best Indie Game.
Thanks, Max. So we are here on the stage again. People are stoked. They continue to be stoked. And we are going to be checking out the nominees for Best Indie Game. So we have El Hijo, Genesis Noir, Minutes of Islands, Mosaic, and Unheard. And the winner is El Hijo.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's overwhelming. Thank you very much. This goes out to the Honig Studios team and our awesome publisher. Come play the game in the indie arena. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this game. I played it. It was super cool.
And we're going to check back with the studio to hear more about El Hijo.
So El Hijo is that's Spanish for the sun, and this is it's a stealth Western game about a son trying to get back out. He's trying to escape and get back to his mother.
That's right.
To tell us about it, one of the guys who made it.
Yeah, thanks. It's you're a boy and you live with your mom at a farmhouse which is being burned down by bandits, and the mom brings you to a monastery to go take out revenge on the bandits. So your only goal is to go find your mom.
Now, this game has a very sort of like children's storybook looking art. It's really beautiful. How did you guys decide to go with this look?
Well, it was a process. We had the story first, then we thought about the game mechanics and stealth fit very well to such a topic. And then we did research and thought to play a lot with light and shadow to help El Hijo sneak and hide. And yeah, this kind of evolved.
And you're heavily influenced by sort of spaghetti westerns and Sergio Leone. I gotta ask, are there any fantasy elements here, or any like monsters or anything, or is it just?
No, the monsters are the adults.
I like that. That's
just
true.
like in real life.
So true.
It's true.
What other influences did you look to for this game?
Definitely spaghetti westerns. There's also musically a lot of influences from blues and New Orleans jazz. Movies, of course, inspiration was Jodorowsky's El Topo.
Oh, El Topo. That's like what Max and I
yeah.
talk about El Topo all the time. It's like one of our favorite movies.
El Topo starts.
Yeah. Obviously, classic stealth games have been around for a very long time. Some of the earliest I remember playing are Metal Gear, but specifically, there's a scene in Ocarina of Time where Link has to sneak into the castle. I feel like I'm seeing like notes of that here. Was any of that an inspiration?
Sure. Lots of games have been inspiration. We've been being inspired and stealing ideas all the time, and the indie games are the ones that are the core of our source of inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, looking at the story, it seems like to have a very sad background. How important was it for you to catch the audience by bringing such a emotionally heavy background to that game?
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to start in such a story world where things are look bleak, but very soon within the game things take a twist, and El Hijo starts taking command of his life and of his experience and goes on his own quest.
Excellent. Well, congratulations.
Congratulations.
This, like Seb was saying, this is a very, very hard category to pick a winner for, because there's so many great indie games out there. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to check in with that gigantic crowd out there. How you guys doing?
We are throwing chairs into the audience.
Oh my God.
It's Toronto. It's turned into
Don't
90s
do it.
wrestling. Don't do it.
So Leute, wer hat noch Bock auf ein Shirt? Hier, ihr da hinten, ich hab's gesehen.